From the shores of Malibu where the waves are pumping, to the Great Wall of China and back to the streets of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, where the UFC is coming. We are live. This is It's Time Radio, the show where we talk about what you think about but may be afraid to voice. Do not worry, we'll voice it for you. It's No Holds Barred Radio, folks. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, UFC, movies, TV, politics, you name it, we'll talk about it. And I'm here with my co-host and producer, TJ DeSantis. TJ, another 2 weeks gone by, not 1 week.
Hey,
Little
we
delay
tried.
last week.
A for effort, Buffer. A for effort.
A for effort. And none other than the wonderful, the exciting, the ever interesting Pearl Gonzalez. Pearl, how are you? Happy New Year. Good to have you on the show.
Hello, Bruce. Happy New Year. Thank you so much for having me on. Happy New Year, TJ.
My pleasure. My pleasure. You know, Pearl, we were going to have a show last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was
Hey,
doing
can you guys hear me, by the way? My microphone was not working.
No, I
well,
hear you
so
fine.
I'm switching things up. Hi, Pearl.
That's
Happy
okay.
New Year.
That's all right.
Happy New Year.
All right, sorry.
So what happened is I went and I announced the Fiesta Bowl. I opened up the Fiesta Bowl, the big college football game, and was down there, whatever, came back. And about 5-6 days later, I opened up and started the new year with COVID. So
oh no.
That's why we didn't have a show last week. And you know, it's real funny, Pearl. TJ, you got to get a kick out of this too. I was at the Princess Hotel in Scottsdale, Arizona. And this was after the Fiesta Bowl, which was New Year's Eve day. So now it's New Year's Eve. And I'm at the affair, the New Year's affair they're having in the outdoor bar area. Very, safe outdoors, the way I like it. I've been doing the countdown from the second tier of the location. And before I go there, I'm with my friends and we're all sitting in the fire pit area, right? And people would come up to me and they say, "Hey, can I get a picture with this, that?" And you know me, I'm always happy to take pictures, but I'm also, whether you agree with me or not, I'm very COVID safe, right? So when they came up, I fist bump them. And then I put my hand on their shoulders, two guys. And I said, "Okay, guys, I'm just very COVID safe. Turn around, take your picture, like this, right? I don't need to be hugging and getting close." And so they take the picture. Then all of a sudden I hear, "There is no COVID. Don't be a bitch." Right. And
then you end up with COVID then.
Well, yeah. Well, here's the crazy part about it. I turn around and guy looks like an ex-lineman for college, whatever, 25 years old, big dude. And he just turns around and I turn around and I go, "Are you talking to me?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Don't be a COVID bitch." I go, "Hey, and I set myself strong because I know how these situations can escalate real quick. But I'm sorry, nobody calls me a bitch. You don't insult my character and you don't call me a bitch. It's one of my pet peeves in life." So I turned around, I looked at him, and it's New Year's Eve, for God's sake. And I go, "Hey, be nice," right? As stern as I can look, because, you want to diffuse the situation. And I just said it twice, "Be nice," right? Then his friends come, "Oh, I'm so sorry. He's acting that way. So sorry." I go, "Hey, you calm your friend down, you diffuse the situation, or I will." Okay. And that's not the way I want to start the new year. So take care of it right now.
He almost got you out of retirement, Buffer.
Well, whatever. I'm not trying to act like a tough guy because there's plenty of tough guys out there, but I don't take any crap. Don't put your hands on me. Don't call me a bitch. And geez, I'm sitting here taking pictures for your fan friends and I'm a bitch, right?
Yeah.
So there's no COVID. Is that right? Okay, great. I get home and I came down with COVID.
Oh, gosh.
Great way to start the new year. So anyway,
I hate to say it, Buffer, but like karma's going to get that guy.
Whatever the case might be, but I'm glad that nothing happened. It's not the way I care to start off the new year, but trust me, he's a big dude, but I don't know about you, Pearl, but I kind of like them when they're bigger. I don't like them when those small wrestler types, man. Those are the ones that can tear you a new you know what.
Yeah, I agree with you though with the bitch word. That is like one of my biggest pet peeves. I never use it. I don't like to even call, my girlfriends. It's like bitch this, and that's just my pet peeve though, is especially from a man. I do not ever want to be called that, nor do I ever want to disrespect. I think that's one of the most disrespectful things you can say to someone. So I can agree with you on that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For both genres, for sure. Okay. So that was the start of the new year. So the COVID situation, otherwise everything's great. I hope your new year started off strong. I hope everybody's positive. Today's the first day of the rest of our lives. So let's all say happy new year. And I'm going to say it by showing, this is my new puncher's chance. Pearl. It's the 14-year reserve. It's obviously been touched a little bit.
Yeah. I think you've been doing some show prep with that, Buff.
Well, we call this the left cross because it's got the Jamaican flag colors on it.
Right.
Right. And the reason the left cross is because Mike Tyson, the first man to ever knock him down, was the Jamaican fighter named Razor Ruddock, and he knocked him down with the left cross. And this bourbon is made in Jamaican dark rum barrels. So we're following the Jamaican theme, and that's why we called it the left cross. We only have 2,000 cases we can make because it's a reserve. It sells for like 160, 180 a bottle, but it's already sold out.
Oh my goodness.
You can go to puncherschanceBourbon.com. They may have a few bottles left for sale there, but I'm very happy about it. So anyway, there you go.
I can't imagine the Puncher's Chance. I had one of the tough producers in town who's helping me set up my podcast and stuff. And I gave him the Puncher's Chance. I let him smell it. I let him taste. He loved it. It's one of my favorites. It's so good.
Thanks,
especially for the price range, the smell, because that's the way that you taste. People think you have to shoot it. You have to smell it first. You have to really understand the notes that you're about to taste, and then you taste it.
Trust me, I've tasted some of Pearl's mixology combinations in the past. She takes taste very seriously.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, and you mentioned price range. We got voted the top 5 best sipping bourbon in America at his price range.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. It's delicious.
Thanks. Just showing Connor how to do it the proper way. That's all I can do.
Oh, that's a low blow right there, Buffer.
I love it.
Oh, listen, no disrespect to Connor. Come on, Connor. You know I love you. Just hey, success breeds competition, and competition breeds success, and there's room for everybody. And that's the way it works.
Hey, Pearl, Amen. It looks like we're catching you right out of the gym. Are you training?
I actually just got done with the sparring session. So yeah, I just left the gym now.
Oh, you did?
Ran out of there, a couple busted lip, got a little bit of busted lip there, but yeah, it was a good session.
We should see the other girl though, right?
Yeah.
It was like 4 of us. Okay. So we were just rotating in and out. There's a lot of the girls in the gym that are getting ready for their fights and stuff. So it's always fun to be there with the girls getting the work in.
Yeah, but you're not training for mixed martial arts anymore. You're training for boxing, right?
Yeah, I just focus on boxing. The girls come in, so when they spar me, they have to spar boxing. I feel bad for them because it's not the same. These girls are working so hard in the grappling, and we're a big, predominantly grappling gym. And so, you know, the girls are really good grapplers, and they have to come and work with me, who only trains boxing. So it's different, but I get to work on different things. I don't need to go in there and just prove that I know more. I go in there and I get to work on several things. And these girls are tough, man. I mean, Alima's a Bellator champion. She was one of the longest reigning champions there, the longest reigning. We've got Juliana Miller, who won the Ultimate Fighter last season.
She's a killer.
So, she's a killer. And then one of our other girls, Nadine, who's actually getting ready to make her bare knuckle debut. So it's pretty amazing to kind of work with all different girls, and especially the MMA girls. They come with these awkward punches. They have different rhythms than a boxing striker would. So it's nice work for me.
Well, you know, the boxing strikers, when I was doing my fair share of boxing, mostly kickboxing, but it's all about short movements, turning your whole body into it, straight down the pipe shots. Most MMA fighters are loopers,
right?
You know, and you can get down through them straight down the middle, you know, preferably as long as they're not taking a shot on you, right? To take you down. So let me ask you a couple questions, Pearl. That's what I just said is not news to anybody that knows fighting, but you've had a couple fights in boxing already?
Yes.
Without mentioning money, as far as how much, is the money better for you?
I'll say right now, I'm 2-0 in my career, and I'm paying to fight right now. I'm investing in my own career, and this is kind of how boxing works. I have to pay my opponents, and I have to cover a lot of the fees and stuff. So right now, it's the beginning phase of boxing. I never knew this. I thought this was the craziest shit I've ever been through. Like, what? But when I get to the big fights, which is where I will be, I am 100% sure of that, the money will be there. At this point, though, in my career, Bruce, I'm doing this because I love it. I'm doing it because I love to compete. I want to fight. I'm not interested in mixed martial arts at this point. So I moved into boxing, and I'm focused on boxing, and I want a world title there. And so this is just kind of the road that I'm taking there. I do believe my next fight will be coming, and that will be a big payday, and that will be the biggest payday probably I've ever had. So it's worth it to me. It's worth it. Do
you have good management that's getting your fights?
Yes, I do.
Okay, because if you ever need to be introduced to anybody, one of my close friends is the Klitschko's boxing manager.
Oh,
and he handled Lucia Riker and others.
Okay.
So if you ever need an introduction, I'll be happy to make that introduction for you. I'm not taking
Thank
you away
you.
from your people. I don't mean that. I'm just saying if
I
there's an
know.
avenue there that he could help you excel when you want to excel, I'd be happy to make the introduction for you.
There's
Okay, I
always a way to
appreciate that.
collab. I think that's what the cool
Yeah,
kids
there's
say.
always a
You
way
want
to
to you want to
collab in some way.
collab?
I just don't like hearing that you're paying your opponents to fight you. I've never heard that before. Come
You
fight
know,
me.
it's
I'll pay you. Jeez.
Well, yeah. Let me ask you this, Pearl. How much of that is the fact that you have a name? You're not this unknown commodity coming into boxing. Like people know who you are. So, of course, I think people are going to be more hesitant to try to fight you on your way up.
it's difficult. It is difficult because I have so much fight experience, and then I come in as a debuter in boxing. So yes, it's been a little difficult for that. But I trust that the road that I'm taking, this is the right road. Again, the next fight that I have that I'm hoping to announce here very soon is it's a big one, and it'll be my biggest payday ever in MMA, bare knuckle, all of it. So it's worth it. It's worth it to me. It's patience.
They paid you well on the bare knuckle, didn't they?
They did. They paid me better than MMA ever paid me. And so bare knuckle pays well if you have a name. I hear that now that they're not paying as much because they're established now at this point, and they're an established sport. But if you have a name, they'll pay you. They'll pay you top dollar, and they will pay you above everybody else.
They're established, but they also realize that some of those big paydays they handed out early on cost them a lot of money. You can't keep handing out those big paydays. I'm very happy the fighters got it because I want you to make as much money as possible. But business is business, and you got to run that business. Speaking of business, as we talk about this, before we go any further, this happened over a week ago. But my condolences and best wishes go out to the rising star Victoria Lee, who died at the age of 18. That was so tragic. So
So
tragic.
tragic.
3-0 on her way to being one of the top female fighters potentially. And did it come out why she passed at 18? Did it come out yet?
I didn't see it yet, but I mean, it doesn't even matter. I mean, I hate to say that. It does matter how she passed, but like that's way too young to be talking about mortality. So whatever it is, it's horrible.
Yeah, well,
it is, and I mean, her brother and sister, they both were champions over at one. You can only imagine the baby would have been. You know what it's like. The youngest usually ends up the best, especially when you have examples like that. And I'm thinking there's no way it was something that she did, like she made some bad decisions. There's no way. She was so committed and dedicated to her sport and her craft, and it's a fighting family. And it happened right after Christmas, but that's got to be so tough during the holidays are already tough. To have to deal with that at that point is terrible.
I can't even imagine. My condolences and best wishes go out to her loved ones and her family, though. It's crazy. And again, it's always hard to segue into another story, but we have to because we're reporting the news that happened. Another big thing that happened in the mixed martial arts UFC world is that Ngannou has been released by the UFC.
And that was surprising to me, Bruce. I mean, we talked to Francis about a year ago. It blows
me away. Yeah, we talked to him when we had him on the show last year.
I thought they were going to be able to come to terms. Obviously, that didn't happen. But wish Francis the best. The UFC will move on, and never say never. I mean, how many times have we seen people leave the UFC only to come back? BJ Penn is one that comes to mind, right? Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know if this is the last we've seen of Francis, but wish him all the best on his merry way.
My prediction is it's not the last we're going to see of Francis because we're going to see Francis out there, whether he's in UFC or not. We know that.
Right.
I do predict he will be back in the UFC at some point, be it a year or 2 years from now. Obviously, let's talk about what could be on the table for Francis. Obviously, there's a big potential boxing event, which could be a lot of money out front. But if he doesn't win that event, where does he go in boxing? That could propel him right back to the UFC. So,
which I hate to say is a win for me personally, because I don't care about Francis Ngannou, the boxer. I care about Francis Ngannou, the best heavyweight mixed martial artist. So
I do too. I do too. And of course, we wanted to see him fight John Jones.
Yes.
The other thing is that bare knuckle. We talked about them. There was rumored that they were going to give him a lot. I don't even see him thinking about going into bare knuckle.
There's no point.
Really, it comes down to boxing or it comes down to MMA. And if he stays in MMA, he could probably get a big one-time offer from Bellator to come in and fight. But
I still don't believe that narrative. I still believe that the most money you're going to make in mixed martial arts is from the UFC.
It is because, like we discussed with Francis when he was on the show, and people misinterpreted this when I said it, you want to be where the eyeballs are on you.
Right.
Everybody's eyeballs, with all respect to Bellator, PFL, ONE FC, all respect to all these fine organizations. But the UFC is the NFL. The UFC is the Star Wars. The UFC is where you want to be. And the publicity you get out that is why he was complaining about his sponsors being able to have a sponsor, but there's outside sponsorships when you're not fighting, the TV commercials, the product representations. You're not going to get those big ticket prices because you're not on as many eyeballs or available to as many eyeballs as you are with the publicity machine that's behind the UFC. That's all I ever meant by that.
And also too, though,
to see where he goes.
And I hate to say it, but how many people are excited about this Ciryl Gane and John Jones fight? Like, I don't mean to take anything away from Francis, but the world is going to draw its attention away from Francis unless he does something that's really big. People are just going to move on. And if John Jones beats Ciryl Gane, then who knows what's next for John Jones? I mean, I say that every year already. Who knows what's next for John Jones, whether it's good or bad? Who knows what's next for John Jones? Well, that's
the way you got to look at it. But, we talk about relevance, and I'm sure, Pearl, you can appreciate this. You need to, in sports and entertainment, you need to, in my opinion, as a manager and as a marketer, you need to stay relevant, right? 6 months out of the picture, you start to lose your relevancy, okay, if that's the proper English word. John Jones has been out of the picture for 3 years, yet in the picture, but out of the picture. He's going to come back and fight Gane, however that fight goes, and he's going to become relevant again, right? Making whatever money he can make out of that. And Gane will become more relevant. I would hate to see Ngannou, who I personally like a lot as a human being. I think he's a fine human being, and I love watching him fight. I don't want to see him lose that window of relevancy. Now, if he can go out and fight a Tyson Fury or whoever the other boxers are and make himself a guaranteed $2 million,
it's still a one-off, though, Buff.
But it's a one-off. That's my point. It's a one-off.
I mean, unless he wins,
was offered like $8 million. Did you hear he was offered like $8 million? I don't know if it's true or not. I have no idea.
I don't know.
That was from his mouth. That's what he said. He was offered $8 million to fight John, but he had to do the fight extension, and there were, the other clauses, like you said, he wasn't able to do the sponsorship. What I will say is, whatever happened between them two, I really love the way that Ngannou has handled this. And the way that he spoke about the UFC, the way he spoke to what he said about Dana, and he was like, he's just so classy. He's so respectful. And whatever their differences are and the disagreements came to, they can't help but respect him. And moving forward, you can still do business with him at some point. Maybe not today, but he handled it so well. And for me, like, that's huge, especially because he's frustrated, he's hurt, there's no other place to be than the UFC. That's the biggest, best platform that you can get, and you're the champion. And like, so with that being said, he's hurt, and he said he's hurt that he left, and how he handled it. He could have said the worst horrible things, Ariel would have ate all that up, but he didn't. And for that reason, he's just such a great example of what the sport, what we need as athletes and as champions.
And I think what Pearl brings up is the way that he's so classy, like you said, leaves that door open for business in the future. There's no way that they're not going to do business together as long as Francis remains someone that, the casual world is interested in. You talk about relevance, Bruce. He might take a step back relevance wise, but as long as he doesn't take a step back skill wise, the UFC will be happy to have him back, on easier terms.
Without a doubt. But what you're doing is you're creating an $8 million blip in your career. Okay. I mean, this man is on the way to having a movie made about his life. His life is absolutely, bottom line, above fascinating, everything he's been through. And the road to victory, the road to championship, which he already has attained in the UFC, he's there. I always say the hardest part is not getting there. It's when you get there. That's the hard part, is maintaining that. Now there's a blip. Where's that blip going to go? I mean, great role model, great guy, great everything. I love you, Francis. You're just a fine human being. I guess I'm just personally bummed that I'm not going to be sharing the octagon with Francis Ngannou, okay, at this stage of his career.
For a little while.
For a little while. Okay, so Buffer's bummed. Okay, that's it. All right. Good luck to you, Francis. God knows I'm always in your corner, and we will see you back, I'm sure. So Bellator is launching an 8-man, $1 million lightweight Grand Prix now.
All right.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, money's good. For athletes, money's good. We always want to see athletes get paid.
All right. Well, we're coming up to Brazil. We got Brazil this weekend. This is a big show. We got 2 championship fights coming up here. And let's talk a little bit. Pearl, get your take on some of this action that's going on. Glover Teixeira stepping back in for a second chance at the heavyweight title with Jamal Hill.
Light heavyweight,
pardon me. Sorry, we're just talking about the heavyweights. what can you say about Glover? You know, he's the Ernie Shavers. He's the Joe Frazier. He's like, you just got to get through this guy. He can win at any given moment. So I can't really call this fight. May the best man win.
Oh man, and you know what makes it interesting is that he's gonna have he's in his homeland. So he's got that energy and buffer. You understand this. I don't know if the listeners understand the energy, the environment plays such a huge factor in the mindset of the athlete and the fight in the fight. And when you've got like such a crazy crowd and all the energy, and you know that they're going to be screaming for Glover and they want Glover to win. Glover to me is like one of the most inspiring athletes you've ever seen. At 42, becoming a champion, like he gives hope to everyone. He gives hope to everyone that time doesn't mean anything if you are willing and dedicated and committed enough. And so, you know, he has his country. He'll be in his homeland. You know that that's a little bit of a weight on his shoulder. And Jamal looks so aggressive already in the face-offs that they had. You know that he's coming. He's a young fighter. He's got that athleticism. He's got that, you know, the young athlete still in him, the inexperience. And that sometimes really helps and plays to your benefit. But man, how is he going to deal with that environment? And Utah, Buff, what is that environment like? I mean, it's got to be intense in Brazil.
I'll tell you what the environment's like. I will walk out about 15 minutes before the first fight. Unlike Vegas, where maybe a fifth of the arena is full, right? Half the arena or more, or 2/3 will be full before that first fight occurs in Brazil. The weigh-ins the day before are going to be full. When I walk out, me personally, I feed off the energy of the crowd, similar to the way a fighter does to do my performance and what I have to do. Certainly, I'm not fighting. I'm just doing my announcing and performing. But they go crazy as soon as me, the announcer. I'm not even the fighter. I'm the announcer walking out, and they lose their cookies, and it's the most exciting thing in the world. I could just imagine, take my feeling I get and multiply that times 50 for a fighter walking out about to put their blood, sweat, and tears on the line, as you know better than anybody, Pearl.
Wait, did you just say they lose their cookies?
Have you ever heard that term? Do you lose your cookies? You never heard that?
I've never lost a cookie. Look at me.
You know, they're losing their cookies. They're getting excited.
All right.
Anyway, it's going to be very exciting, but I'll tell you something that's not very exciting. As much as I love Brazil, there's a lot of unrest in Brazil now with the political riots going on in Brasilia, the violence, the occurring, people are following the whole thing that happened with Trump and everything. It's almost happening down there the same way, but it's bad.
Right. Yeah.
It's causing a lot of problems. So we got the guidelines and safety. You want me to tell you the first few guidelines and safeties?
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is recommended that, with the exception of official UFC activities, all personnel remain in the hotel.
Wow.
Do not go anywhere. Limit the number of personal belongings you carry, obviously cash. Make copies of all your personal documents. It was at one of the last shows that they were out on the beach where we all like celebrate watching the sunrise because the show ends at 3 a.m. when 2 people with guns came and robbed everybody of their passports and their money.
Oh, no.
On the beach right across from the UFC hotel. As I understand it, the passports mysteriously wound up coming back in a bag the next day. They got those back. Not
that
the
was
money.
Nice.
But, you know, you want to be careful. You don't want to wear Rolex watches or anything. That's always been an issue, as it's an issue here in the United States. They'd say that. Do not carry valuable items. Avoid using your phone in public. You don't want to use your iPhone in public to show you have it. And do not walk the beaches or streets after dark.
Wow.
Do not walk the beaches or we're right on the beach. And do not use public transportation. Don't use Uber. Don't use taxi. Only UFC authorized vehicles.
Well, I mean,
holdups of pedestrians and motorists can happen at or near beaches. Carjackings and holdups can occur any time of day.
I hate to say this, but what you're saying, Bruce, is also the guidelines for some people when they come to Los Angeles. So
yeah, but it's very serious down there. I mean, but this is what we're getting. We have to be careful. So don't think it's all.
Be smart. Be smart.
It's all be smart. It's not all fun in the sun. And let's go out to Churrasco's and go crazy in Brazil. You got to watch yourself.
I mean, I went to
love
a place.
The country. The country's a beautiful country, beautiful people, but there's a lot of issues going on right now.
I went to a place in Mexico with Pearl where it was the level 4 do not travel, and Pearl's wandering around the grocery store buying short ribs. So
yeah, but Pearl can break anybody's short ribs that come up to her the wrong way. So
that's true. That is true.
There's a bit of a difference there.
So that was actually intense. So we did like a convoy to and from the hotel, and it was like a 2 mile. Do you remember that travel from the
Yeah.
airport to the hotel,
Yeah.
or 2 hour? Excuse me, 2 hour travel. So on our way back, TJ, you must have left earlier or something, but I was on my way back with Dean and Ian, and there was a man hanging in the tree as
What?
we're driving past, and like we
Hanging
just see
like hung, like dead.
hugged, dead in the tree. And we're like, I mean, we have video of it, but we're like, we couldn't stop, obviously, but we were like, what the hell is going? I mean, that's how intense that was. So when they tell you that, they know what they're doing and they know why they're warning you guys, man, it's intense. That's intense. Bring a good book, Bruce. Bring a good book. Get
That's why
comfy in
God
your
made
room.
online poker, Pearl.
There you go.
Yeah, it's all good. I got plenty of work to do for the show and online. Listen, I'm in and out quick. I'm leaving tomorrow. I'll get there Friday morning, right? I'll have Friday to get myself together, do workout, the whole usual stuff. Maybe go to the weigh-ins, and then Saturday's the show, and the show ends at 3 a.m. And then we can't get out of there until Sunday night. Otherwise, I'd be out of there right away to come home.
Wow.
So I'm quick in and quick out. We'll watch a little football on Sunday, and John Anik and the boys and I and whoever else will get together, and that's it. Quick in, quick out. And
That's
then
good.
I've got next week I go to the Bahamas, right?
Ew.
Yeah, well, I've actually been invited down. This is really cool, guys. You'll like this. I used to be an ambassador for Poker Stars, so I'll go to work this week in Brazil, quick in, quick out.
Right.
But Poker Stars invited me to go to the Bahamar Resort in Bahamas in Nassau, which is beautiful. They have a big tournament, $25,000 to enter to play the tournament, right?
Wow.
So they're gonna bring me down. I'll open up the tournament, do my usual work, and then part of my deal with them is that they're entering me in the tournament. I don't have to pay the 25,000, and first
Nice.
prize is $4 to $5 million, right?
Wow.
Which I'm
What?
very capable of winning the whole thing.
So how many people do you have to beat to win that money?
How what?
How many people would you have to beat to win that money?
There'll probably be 1,200 that'll enter. It'll be over 3 days. But I played.
Dang.
I took first place in a tournament against 1,535 people one time.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah, it's all good. All the pros will be down there. But I look at pro poker players the way when I would stand across from somebody in the ring, getting ready to go slap each other silly. They're humans. They bleed. They breathe just like we do. Okay, yeah, there's a skill factor. But you know what? Don't beat yourself before you go in and throw the first punch.
Well, go
Right.
get it.
Go get it. So I'm
That's
gonna go get it.
amazing.
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna
then
say a prayer for
and
you.
get this.
I hope you win that.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. But I mean, it's all expense paid. How can I turn that down?
Of
And
course.
Yeah.
a couple of my guy friends, my poker buddies, are going to go down. So we're going to do a little boys trip. Go play poker. We're going to play poker all day, have some good food, and relax in the Bahamas.
Let me ask you this, Bruce, because your entry fee is being taken care of, does that make you play maybe a bit more aggressive than you would if you were playing with your own money?
I pretty much play the same.
Yeah.
Play smart. Play my game. Try to win hands with the worst cards possible. Play the player. I just don't sit there and wait for aces and kings. That you might as well just go throw your money away.
Right.
You're going to lose eventually. No, I play my game. I play my game.
There you go.
Believe me, when you're going all in and realizing that your $25,000 is not on the line when you're pushing all your chips in, it is a little easier feeling than when you're
Sure.
pushing in, saying 25,000 down the drain.
Sure.
But the beautiful part of is out of 1,200 people, they'll pay the top like 250 players,
Mm-hmm.
and the first money position will be like $50,000-$60,000.
Wow.
That's
And
great.
then it goes up from there to the 4 to 5 million. You committed 100 and probably make at least 100 or more thousand. So
That's great. I mean,
It's a great-
that's worth a couple days
it's worth a couple of days. It's all good.
in
Anyway,
paradise.
So is the
Listen.
intensity similar to right before a fight, like between when you feel that you're the one that's like right in the middle, so you feel both sides of the energy? Is that similar when you guys are getting ready to start playing, or while you're playing, that intensity?
There's a lot of similarities between fighting and poker, because when you put all your chips in, it's like when you're going in to knock your opponent out, one of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to get knocked out or they're going to get knocked out. You
Right.
need to know when to be offensive and when to be defensive and to play the player, and to think 3 steps ahead. I mean, when I used to, bang, I would think 2 or 3 steps ahead. I'm just not wondering
Yeah.
about the jab I just threw. I want to follow up with that jab, right? And the
Yeah.
same's true in poker. You want
See-
to
see-
plan your moves.
You don't bang anymore, Buff?
Stop it, TJ.
All right.
It's 2023, okay?
All right. Sorry.
Anyway, don't cry for me. I'm going down for a little vacay, something I rarely take, so I deserve a little time off too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All good. And I wish everybody else the best of whatever they're doing. You know me, I'm all about everybody being happy. Okay, let's move on here.
Hey, so real quick, I know you've alluded to it a little bit, Pearl, but like, I mean, are you in a camp right now? Does it seem like you're in a camp?
It hasn't started yet. The fight's far enough out. But yeah, I mean, I've been waiting and working on getting a fight. Dean's been working really hard on finding a fight and putting together an incredible card. And so once he's solidified what he's working on, then yeah, I'm hoping to announce it as soon as possible. So yeah, I mean, at this point in my career, TJ, I only have my timeline. There's a clock that's ticking right now on competing, and so I just have to stay ready for any and every opportunity that's coming my way.
Well, I think that's one thing I've learned about Pearl, by the way, Bruce. She's always ready for whatever. Always ready.
TJ, the way you're rolling with your jokes over the last 2 minutes, I'm not going to touch that one either. So
that's not a joke. I'm being dead serious. Pearl's ready for anything. It's terrifying.
All right. Sounds good. Pearl, that's the mark of a successful mental, cerebral fighter. And that's called being ready 365 days, 24/7.
Let me rephrase this. Pearl might be late, but she's always ready.
And listen, I might be late, but at least I'm consistently late. I'm consistent.
100%. I can always count on you to be there a little bit later, but you're ready when you show up.
Pearl, it's girls like you that cause me when I'm dating. Like, I'll always tell them that, I'll pick them up at 6:30, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, wait, how do I say this? Let me get this right. Hold on.
Well, while you think about it, if you're going to pick up Pearl at 6:30, show up by 8.
Yeah. No, what it is, I tell them 6:30. I forget how I do this. Darn it. I always tell them a half hour past the due point because usually women can be a little bit late. So if I want to pick them up at 6, I say 5:30. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
That way they're ready by 6. Yeah.
Need a little cushion time in there. You have to, especially with me, you have to, TJ knows this. You just got to lie to me about the time, and it's got to be 45 minutes is a good amount of time for me. And I'll be coming down about 5-10 minutes late.
2 hours.
I never lie unless
2
I'm
hours.
playing poker, Pearl. I always tell the truth. So I'll just pick you up 45 minutes later if I was the guy picking you up.
Yes.
All right. Speaking of picking you up and taking you to a fine place for dinner, here's a fine place that's supposedly the fastest growing, on track to be the fastest growing food chain ever, right? Beyond any at Chipotle and all these others. Have you ever heard of this place, Pearl? It's called Dave's Hot Chicken.
No.
Okay. It started in Los Angeles like 4 years ago. Okay. Or like 2017, 5 years ago.
Wait, is this the Nashville hot thing?
Yeah. They serve 4 items.
Yeah, so I've heard about this. Yeah, I haven't been to one and I haven't actually seen one, but this seems to be all the new rage, like this Nashville hot sauce or whatever it is.
Nashville hot sauce. They serve like 2 kinds of chicken sandwiches and 2 kinds of chicken strips, and that's it.
Right.
That's all they serve.
Yeah,
and they're becoming literally the fastest, I call it fast food chain ever.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean, you kind of look at like the success Chick-fil-A has had. It's all just chicken. They serve, a variety of different things are on the menu at Chick-fil-A, but they specialize in one thing. And, Pearl's a big fan of like food trucks. I know Pearl loves food. So, I think Pearl, you might be able to speak to this when there is a company that is very simple at what they sell. I think there's an attraction to it because people are like, well, look how good they're doing. And they only sell 1 or 2 things.
Right. And that's the place you go for that specific thing. You don't want to go anywhere else because you know that they'd make it the best.
Right.
Wow. I got to try this. I wonder if there's one here in San Diego.
I think they are. They're all over California. Supposedly now they've already opened up 100 locations in 5 years.
Wow.
That's crazy.
But they're planning on having as many as like 700 locations.
Are they a private company still? Are they like franchising? How do they work?
I think they're traded publicly now.
Wow. Good for them. And they're Dave's what?
It's called Dave's Hot Chicken.
All right. I mean, I like chicken.
Me too. Do they have fries?
I don't know.
I mean, that would kind of suck if they don't, right? Like, can you have chicken and fries? They're like, no.
Just choose your own sauce sandwiches. That's all I know. That's all I can tell you.
If they don't serve fries, I'm going to open the second best fast food place opening up right next to them and only serving fries.
I think they have one of the best slogans that they put out in an ad.
All right.
It's called "Don't die before you try."
Okay.
That's good.
It's not bad. That's not actually not bad. It's very catchy when you think about
It
it.
is.
Yeah.
Hey,
Their
Pearl, do you watch
marketing's got to
football?
be off the chain. I normally do. I love sports, but I have not been up to date this year at all.
Well, this is one of the craziest years for football. I don't know what it is. Very hard to win on betting, whatever the case might be. But just an example, last Sunday night, Tom Brady, I'm sorry to say, the GOAT had one of his worst performances ever in his last game of the season.
He looked old. He looked old.
It was like it hit him overnight, and
Yeah.
that's what happens.
Yep.
That's what happens. So let's say if he's going to come back next year, he's still incredible. He's still the GOAT, but it just didn't look good. But what was worse is his kicker missed
Oh, I
4
know.
extra points in a row.
It's the first
4
time. Yeah, it's the first
ever.
time in any game that anybody's missed that many extra points. And
Oh,
no,
geez.
I'm not saying that the extra point is a gimme because they made it infinitely harder than it used to be. But what's funny about this, Bruce, is statistically the same kicker has done pretty well. I think he's like 9 for 11 on field goals of 50 yards or more out. So it's like for whatever reason the extra point is sort of, it's clearly a mental thing.
It's definitely mental.
Hopefully that he gets it together because that he plays for the Cowboys. They're still in the playoffs. You know what I mean? They got more work to do. So hopefully he can get it together.
They got a tough game this weekend. But Martin Gramatica, the great kicker, previous to him, he said he's just got to forget the night. He's just got to forget the night and just mentally get over it because mentally is what's going to ruin it for him. But also the other thing too is, I was like, is the team going to fire him tomorrow?
If it were the middle of the season, I would think so. But the fact that they're in the playoffs now, I don't know what the rules are on like getting free agents or anything like that. I don't believe you can do any trades at this point. They're kind of stuck with them. So don't be surprised if they're going for 2-point conversions rather than, trotting them out there for extra points.
Well, we'll see what happens. But Tom Brady's a free agent now. He may be done with football, but he definitely could be on the commentating desk, whatever. He's got to, whatever he
He's
wants
not
to do,
doing that. I don't think he's going to do that. Maybe he will, but I don't know.
He's dealing with his personal life. I know he's had like a tough season this year, but fuck, he's going through a divorce. I know for me, like that put me like in my house for a month straight. And he's out here playing against the best athletes in the world. So whatever he's going through personally, we don't know much, but he's handling it like a GOAT.
And not to mention, too, he's not just out there handling his personal stuff and trying to compete. He's hunted. You know what I mean? Even if the Buccaneers didn't have a great season, like it doesn't matter. They could have gone winless. When you're playing against Tom Brady, that's still Tom Brady. So you're motivated. Right. It's like a title fight for anybody that's playing against him.
Right.
True. Well, we'll see how it falls. What's going to happen now? This weekend, betting wise, forget the season. It was horrible, but I'm usually very good in the playoffs. I went 4 for 5 this weekend.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So here's my picks for this weekend coming up.
Let's go.
All the favorites. Kansas City
all the
Chiefs
favorites.
Take all the favorites. They're playing the wild card winners. Take all the favorites. The only one that could be an issue is the Giants covering against Philly, but Kansas City's -8. Buy them down to 7. Take Kansas City. Buy them down to 6.5 if you can. What I mean, and if you understand when you bet, you can shave points, but you pay a higher percentage to the betting organization you're betting with. The Philadelphia Eagles are -7.5. Buy them down to 6.5. Roll it on the Eagles. Buffalo Bills -5. Definitely go with the Bills, although Cincinnati could be trouble. And 49ers and Cowboys. 49ers are like the hottest team in football right now.
You like them, huh?
Well, I mean, they're just hot right now. They're good, but so's Dallas.
Yeah, I like Dallas. I think Dallas is going all the way, Buff.
Well, they're in Philadelphia's division, so I'm going to go against them. Although,
of course you are, because you go with your heart. It's either the Raiders or the Eagles for you. But I like the Cowboys this year.
I think that either bet is good, but I would take the 49ers and buy them down to 2.5. So that's just my picks. Go like that.
See, this is where my inexperience comes in. I'm picking the hot guy. Where's Joe Burrows? Because that's definitely a guy I'm picking.
Where's who?
Joe Burrow.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, picking him. He's hot.
Yeah, he's a nice guy too. He came to the UFC.
He looks like it.
I'm very happily married.
Pearl's like, I would love to get to know him.
No, I get tell he's very much in love. Very much in love.
All right.
Well, hey, that might change, Pearl. You never know. It might change.
Hey, yeah, but then listen, breakups can be not as difficult as divorces, but breakups aren't fun either, Pearl.
They're not. It's a lot easier than a divorce.
Whether you're the breakee or the breaker, it's not fun. Okay, Pearl, you're into or do you enjoy entertainment wrestling, WWE?
A little bit. I love Nikita. I love Nikita Lyons. She's She's so sweet. Her and I go back and forth a lot on social media, but I
Uh-huh.
don't actually watch.
I think
So I
Pearl would
don't know
actually
what's
make
going
a great valet, like a manager. I think Pearl's good on the
Oh,
mic.
I think I'd be really good at that.
She'd be a great sports entertainer.
Yeah, I was on Logan Paul's podcast the other week, and I commended him because he does great in the world of wrestling. But now in the world of wrestling, Stephanie McMahon just resigned. Vince McMahon came
Yeah.
back.
There's a
but Stephanie
whole
McMahon
weird thing
resigned
going
days
on
later.
over there. Yeah.
It's weird.
It sounds like they're trying to sell. I don't know if they've. I mean,
Yeah, I thought they did.
Yeah, I don't know if it's official yet. I haven't been following it too much, but like I heard it was between like Walt Disney and like a Saudi group. Yeah.
Walt Disney.
But
So
what's
Disney's going to own
interesting,
the WWE and they're going to own the UFC.
Well, they don't own the UFC. They own the UFC.
Not own the UFC.
Yeah. That was the sort of curious thing there, Bruce. Would they want, because like that, no offense to WWE, but like that's not really an ESPN product, right? And that's where Disney would sort of be
That's
interested.
what I meant, ESPN, because I do.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. They pay me for some voiceovers I do once in a while. That's where I caught that.
Yeah. No worries. I know what you meant, but like it sounds like if anybody is going to buy it, it's going to probably be that Saudi group. But I don't know. I just want to get Pearl Gonzalez into like wrestling school now.
that sounds like fun. I mean, I love their outfits. They're so flashy over there and they look intense. And you're right, Logan did amazing over there. I did see his performance and I was like, oh my goodness,
he looks like he's been doing it for years.
Hey, let me tell you something about. Let me tell you something. Well, he's such a natural athlete, but let me tell you something about Logan. His drink Prime, the hydration drink.
Yeah.
They are announcing they're the sponsors of the UFC now.
Oh,
I was gonna say I saw Dana with that this weekend.
Yeah,
when he did his press conference, he had it.
They signed like a 3-year deal. God knows how much it's costing Logan and his company Prime, but I would venture to guess easily $60 to $100 million for a 3-year sponsorship of the UFC like that.
Wow.
But I mean, if anybody can afford it and do well with it, it's him.
They've been out with Prime for a year, and I think their sales hit 80 million.
That's great.
Oh my goodness!
They captured
incredible.
Like 1% of the market. It's huge. They did very, very well. But that's okay. It's time. Energy is coming out, so I got to show them how to do it the proper way too.
I'm just waiting I'm waiting for my free case.
It's coming. Don't worry. It's coming. Packages are coming.
I mean, if anybody's going to be an expert on energy drinks in the show, it's me.
I can't wait for your opinion.
TJ.
It will happen. All right. In football too, Carr's leaving the Raiders. I think the guy's very talented. I think whoever picks him up will get a good quarterback. You just got to learn to play with the team.
Do you think he's going to be a first string quarterback or is he going to be a backup?
I think he'll go into a team as a first string. I think there's teams out there that are dying for a good quarterback right now.
It's the hardest position to fill, right?
Quarterbacks are like so far and few between, quality quarterbacks right now.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting
with him.
I don't even want to talk about the Vikings, Buff. I don't want to talk about it.
That's the only game I lost this weekend. I went with you in the Vikings.
I allowed myself to get invested. I shouldn't have.
Well, it is what it is. They got
at least they're better than Pearl Gonzalez's beers. They're better than the beers.
They are. I can't say anything. They definitely beat the Bears.
Hey, Pearl, here's an example of stupid is as stupid does. Four women, a man's coming out of Planet Fitness in like Houston, Texas, I think it was. And 4 women are out there and they ask him for a ride. So he lets 4 women get in his car. They take him for a ride. So they take him to where he takes them to where they're going. As soon as he gets there, 2 men are armed and waiting for them. It was a total setup.
Oh no!
To rob him.
Oh no!
He speeds away.
Did he have anything good?
Well, he speeded away, and they started shooting at him. They shot him in the abdomen.
Oh my God!
Oh, shit!
So
they shot him.
They shot him. Yeah. All I can say is, guys, I don't care if it's 4 of the hottest women you possibly can imagine. You got to read situations. Something's wrong with that picture.
I mean, that's why it pays to look like me. If like 2 women want something from me, I'm like, okay, what's up? What's happening? Like I don't even trust Pearl half the time. When she's like, hey, what time's the shuttle? I'm like, I don't know if I should be trusting you, Pearl. People
Pearl,
like you don't talk to people like me.
No, I'm not picking up. I'm not picking up hitchhikers. Even yesterday, actually, a gentleman in front of me, he was in a van, his car stopped. And I thought about stopping and seeing if he needed help. And then I'm like, I'm a single woman. 9 out of 10 times I'm alone. I can't. I just have to keep going. And so I felt bad. I said a prayer for him, but I kept it moving.
Got to keep it moving. Sorry.
Meanwhile, if it were the dangerous city in the world and Pearl wants short ribs, she's going to go short rib shopping.
Going to go short rib hunting, right? Exactly.
I mean, I think that, you know, especially when you're in public, and even I've traveled the world by myself, a big thing is your appearance and how you view, you know, how you are. One, you've got to watch your six. You're constantly looking around and scanning the area. But two, like, I don't ever look timid. I look people in their eyes, especially if I feel energy. I'm very, very kind of
You're on a
sensitive to
mission.
energy.
You're always on a
Yeah.
mission.
I'm on a mission, and like people tell me I walk like I'm military. I don't see that, but I make sure to look people, because that's your first interaction with someone, is when you both first look at each other, and either you're timid and you show them that you can be a victim, or you show them I will kick your fucking ass. And I make sure to always show people I will kick your fucking ass, and I'm 9 out of 10 times okay.
Do you get hit on a lot when you're out on a daily basis?
No, I don't.
Let's just say this. Pearl said she's always going to watch her six. There's a lot of people that are watching Pearl's six.
I don't go through that. I'll tell you, like, Bruce, this is for the first time. I finally had sex for the first time in 3 years. Like, I don't
wait, like a big, wait, this is not a casual story. You're letting out a big blockbuster on It's Time Radio. Please talk more. Go.
I haven't
3 years.
3 years, and I haven't, you know, I went through a divorce. I took my time to heal and get through that. And then I'm just like, I'm always in the gym. I'm always focused on a goal. So I don't meet guys, and guys don't really talk to me, and I don't know where to meet them. I don't date fighters. I don't want to date fighters. I don't want to date.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. You realize what she just said. She said, I don't know where to meet guys, but she also just said every time she's out in public, she looks at everyone with the attitude, I'll kick your fucking ass. So, Pearl, maybe you're scaring everyone away.
Maybe, but I don't get hit on often. It's not like I go out and party and have a great time. I'm having a hard time here. So yeah, I finally met a dude, and it was fun. It was only for that couple times, and then it was over. And I'm back to square one.
Is the guy still walking, or is in the hospital?
He's okay. He's okay. We had a great time. It was a blast, and then it was over.
That's the big thing, Pearl. Was it worth waiting for?
Yeah, because I was ready for it. So yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
right.
It wouldn't have mattered who it was. I was gonna make that a great time regardless.
What a lucky guy, whoever it was. I mean, to get Pearl Gonzalez after a 3-year hiatus,
right?
Vitamin B. That's all I can tell you.
I don't know what that means, but all right.
It means you need some energy, I think. I think you need a little bit of energy.
Yes.
Good. Kudos to you, Pearl. 2023 has started off with a bang. I got it.
Yes, it has.
All right.
Literally.
Okay, well, and hard to segue out of that. Well, we're going to sign off here in a second, but on the collectible end, Kobe Bryant signed jersey from his most valuable season hit the auction block. They're predicting $7 million.
Wow.
7 million. LeBron James, 2013 finals game, 7 jersey hit the block, 3 million. It's crazy.
Wow.
You would almost think that would be higher.
You would think so, but I
mean, obviously Kobe's passed. Yeah. But I mean, it's just weird to me, Bruce, where some of these collectibles, when you think about the moment that they're involved in these huge moments, but they don't go for as much as they say other players that are more notable who maybe didn't even have that exact same moment in that sort of apparel. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's interesting to me that the variation in price, but it goes back to the idea, what we always talk about is it's not really the value of what it's worth. It's how much someone is willing to pay.
Yeah.
So my question is are these pieces like art? Do they hold value? Do they increase value as time goes on? How do they work?
In the sports memorabilia area, what we're talking about, they increase in value, Pearl.
And especially since the pandemic, and like they increase like tenfold. Like within a year, they'll go up a double.
I have sports memorabilia that's gone up 150% in 1 year, and it doesn't go down.
Oh my. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, that's good to know.
And the UFC collectibles, like the new Panini cards and stuff, great investments when you get them when they first come out.
Incredible. Yep. That's good to know.
No, we talk about it in the show a lot. There's a lot of money in. So I'm very heavy into sports collectibles, vintage movie posters, like behind me, the Dr. No poster and many, many others from the 30s and 40s, and antique weapons and guns. They're some of the best things to invest in.
That's
especially
amazing.
During hard times, they sell like crazy.
That's so interesting. That's cool. Yeah. That's something I need to get involved in something like that.
Well, it's smart to do it. It beats getting less than 1% in the bank, which is nothing. especially when
Right.
inflation's like 6-7%. So
1%, you're lucky to get that.
it's horrible. All right, guys, let's sign off. Pearl, congratulations on all your forward movements going into 2023
Thank you.
in more ways than one. And let us know what's up. Anything you want to tell the audience, and we'll get going here.
Oh my goodness. No, I mean, you guys can always catch me and follow me at Pearl Gonzalez, all my handles. I've been going really hard on my TikTok. And I will be launching. I stopped doing my fan time and stuff for a while, but I will be launching an OnlyFans very soon here, which is a
Just
big
about
deal
to
for
ask,
me.
when's that happening? Okay.
Yeah, so that'll be coming soon, and my own podcast as well. Bruce, you've got to come hang out with me. Maybe it'll be with drinks and a fun time, and maybe you can come on and we can drink some Puncher's Chance.
Sure.
That would be amazing. And yeah, that's about it. Just fighting, obviously very focused on this. My goal is to fight Ebony Bridges, who is the champion in the UK. She's a huge star in boxing. And man, that's going to be an amazing fight. I know her and I can do some amazing things. So that's what I'm working towards every day is that dream fight there. And we'll see where this goes. So that's all I have going on right now.
Well, I wish you all the best. I want you to have a great personal life, which sounds like it's shaping up very, very well for you. I want you to stop paying people to fight you, which looks like it's shaping up very, very well for you.
Yes.
And I want you to start making a crap load of money, which is obviously looks like it's shaping up very, very well for you. So
yes,
all
thank
looks
you,
good for Pearl
Bruce.
Gonzalez. Yes.
Thank you. And for you, I know that it started off rough, but the amazing thing about being sick is your immune system comes back like tenfold.
Yeah.
And so your immune system is amazing. So you're off to a great year as well. I wish you the best in your health and in your life as well.
Thanks. I appreciate it. I'm off to Brazil tomorrow, and we'll see how I do Saturday night. I
Safe
say every night in the
travels.
octagon is my first night. I got to prove I deserve this job come Saturday night.
I look forward to hearing you. I'm sure I'm along with everyone who's saying it with you, you know?
Thanks, Pearl. I appreciate it. Listen, Happy New Year, Pearl. All the best to you. And thanks so much for coming on the show. Stay with us while TJ and I sign off, please.
Okay.
Go ahead, TJ.
Follow me on Twitter and stuff at TJ Santis. I don't, my OnlyFans is never coming. About it.
Okay, sounds good. My OnlyFans site is still on hold. God knows forever. So that's all good. But you can follow me on Instagram at Bruce Buffer UFC, Twitter at Bruce Buffer. I'll see you from the Octagon on Saturday from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And outside of that, Happy New Year, everybody. As usual, big cheers and no fears for 2023. Pearl, again, thank you so much. I will see you and talk to you soon. Keep up the great work. TJ, I will see you and talk to you next week. Everybody out there, love you all. Thanks for tuning in. Another week of success and happiness. Be the best you can be when you step on that yellow brick road to your future. Just perform at your best. If you are, then you're winning. Whether you're a champion, number one, number two, it doesn't matter. Be your best. Perform at your best. Be a winner. Buffer out. Take care, everybody. Be safe.